whether it's for your rental property, to grow as a real estate investor, to grow as a realtor, all kinds of things. So I'll let Andrew take it away.
Awesome.
And a great diver too.
Awesome. Thanks, Francois. Thank you. All right, so some of you right now might be thinking, why the hell did I fly all the way down to beautiful Playa del Coco, Costa Rica, to learn from a YouTube guy at a real estate retreat? So I already did a quick intro of me earlier. I love surrounding myself with brilliant, intelligent, talented, skilled people. I know I'm in the right room. When Francois first asked me to come speak at the event, I was honored, I was grateful, I was thankful, but I was confused. Why do you want me to come speak to a group of real estate experts and investors? Because I don't consider myself in that category whatsoever. And then he gave me the perfect response that I was looking for. He's like, Andrew, real estate pros are wonderful at great many things. Marketing themselves is not one of them. So I'm like, okay, that's the context that I needed. So we might have time for Q&A at the end of this session. It's a 3-day event. If the boss man here says that I don't have time for Q&A, you guys can approach me anytime after this. And you know what? I think I'm going to get rid of the name tag here just for the recording. Okay, so and before I even dive in, I really just actually want to quickly acknowledge Francois and Jennifer here because there's a lot of work that goes into these events. There's a lot of work. I don't know if anyone here has done any event planning in the past. It's a lot of work, and especially when it comes to international stuff. So thanks so much for having the guts to put this on, guys. We really appreciate it. So anyway, so let's dive right in. So getting exposure, gaining awareness, establishing yourself as a thought leader, growing your brand, entrepreneurs and businesses are constantly fighting this. And Tammy, actually, I think you put it perfectly earlier on when you said your real estate business is a business, right? You should treat it as a business. A lot of entrepreneurs and businesses, unfortunately, don't even consider YouTube marketing to grow their exposure, their awareness, their credibility, reach, influence, all of that good stuff. But for those who do consider YouTube marketing, it's like having a little internal business built within inside your business. And unfortunately, this picture probably sends some emotions your way because we're all being pulled in multiple directions all the time. It's getting harder and harder to get in front of the right traffic, the right audience. Ad spend, unfortunately, is going up like probably by the day. Nothing against paid programs. Paid definitely has its place. I'm an organic guy, so I talk about organic stuff, but I do partner up with a lot of paid experts because there's definitely a time and place for paid. However, it can get, it's getting very expensive to pay these platforms, Facebook, Google, YouTube, what have you. It's very much pay to play, right? So there's that aspect. The ad spend is always climbing, and then of course you might also run into challenges in your business where I don't have enough time to get everything done. There's never seems to be enough hours in the day to get everything done. And then whenever you're in business, you're going to have competitors. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it can also get really frustrating if you have a competitor that seems to be outperforming you. It's really just nerve-wracking when you see them getting your market share. So if any of this rings a bell, that's what we're here to talk about today. If you're a little confused about why we're talking about YouTube marketing, the YouTube channel can absolutely accelerate the results and the outcomes that you're after. There are only 3 inputs or 3 levers that you can control to improve your ROI. People, time, and money. People, time, and money. I actually learned this in a more detailed way from one of my clients, Cameron Harold. If you're familiar with Cameron Harold, he's the founder of the COO Alliance and the host of the Second in Command podcast. My team and I recently took over his YouTube program, and he talks about these free levers and inputs all the time. So if we don't find a way to increase the ROI on these 3 inputs, then you're never going to get off of the hamster wheel, right? When you really step back and look at the big picture, I don't think anyone here got into real estate investing to just own their own job, right? You're looking for that financial freedom. You're looking to get out of the hamster race, right? So you might have a team, you might be a solopreneur, but we're going to talk about how YouTube makes you a lot more accessible, and in a way, you're actually creating a brand that for the public is a lot more visible than what you actually are. And we're going to talk about that. It's definitely a way to blow up and multiply yourself in an efficient way, in a virtual way, right? Time. Time is a finite resource that unfortunately we always seem to be running out of. And we're certainly going to talk about how YouTube marketing can make you a lot more efficient with your time. Paul and I had a wonderful conversation the other night about Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Anybody fans of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Yeah, if you're real estate, I'm sure you are. What's the name of the first chapter? Anybody remember? The rich don't work for money. So it's all about building assets that building a business or building assets that create the cash flow that covers for your lifestyle, right? And then cash. How do we get a better ROI on our dollars so that every time you spend $1, you're turning that into $2, $3, $4, $5? And I should have talked to my graphic designer and had him put Canadian dollars on this slide, so I mean no offense, but I think we all understand that slide. So my name is Andrew Murdoch. I'm the founder of YT Era. I love diving into content right away. I'm not giving you my whole resume here, but we are a done-for-you services YouTube marketing company. We specialize in working with entrepreneurs and businesses, and we amplify the world's biggest solutions. I'm very passionate about health, wealth, and relationships, and if we have time at the very end, I'll share a little bit about my story and my why. Ooh. There we go. Okay. So we're kicking things off in a little strange way, right? Imagine this. Super hot, sunny day. I know it's super hard to picture that right now compared to where we are right now. Let's say you got a big heavy back on your back because maybe you just arrived here in Playa del Coco, Costa Rica. And you got those beads of sweat just gathering on your forehead. You're almost out of breath because when you're trying to breathe that hot air, it almost takes a little bit extra work. Am I the only one that feels like that? When it's hot air, you're like, damn, why am I getting so tired so quickly, right? So you're on a bit of a hike, you're trying to get from point A to point B, and you come across a marketplace, you come across a grocery store. So you walk up to the front doors, and you see those giant glass doors that just automatically slide open for you, and what happens? You walk into that wall of cold air. You're parched, you're dry mouth, kind of like I am right now. Whenever you start public speaking, your mouth always goes super dry, doesn't it? So you're dry mouth, you're parched, you're tired, you're sweaty. Your backpack is sticking to your back because now everyone has that super flattering sweat stain on the back of their shirt. And then you go straight into the fruit and vegetable section. And you find the citrus bins. And you see the massive grapefruit, you see the oranges, you see the lemons, you see the limes. And now you see a cutting board in front of you, a wooden cutting board with a knife. And you grab one of those lemons and you give it a squeeze. You can feel how juicy it is. You put it on the cutting board and you slice through that lemon with the knife, and the juice is now oozing all over your hands, on the knife, on the cutting board. And then you put that half face down, you cut it again, you grab a quarter of that lemon. And you feel the juice trickling all over the place.
Agua.
Thank you, sir. Agua. Pura Vida.
Yes.
Muchas gracias. So you put that quarter of that lemon in your mouth, and you bite down hard. Now, for those of you who played along, be honest. How much saliva, did you feel any additional saliva gather in your mouth? Was I the only one? So imagine how much more how much more impactful, how much more effective that exercise would have been if I actually had a video playing this out for you. Now, right now I'm the video and I'm showing you a super juicy lemon image, but it would have been a little bit more impactful, I promise, if I was showing you a video walking you through all those steps. Why did that happen? It's because your central nervous system doesn't know the difference between your external stimuli, the real world, and the images in your mind. That's powerful, because when you can control what someone sees and hears, you actually have a way to persuade and influence how they think, how they feel, which then, going through the process of operation here, then impacts what they act, what they say, what they do, right? So that's what we're here talking about today. Attention is the #1 asset on the planet. We're all real estate experts here, except for me. And you might run into struggles or problems sometimes when it comes to attracting joint venture partners, clients, tenants. You might have a situation where you see another real estate investor get business that you should have got. In fact, you might have been a better real estate investor for that client, but they just didn't know you were there. They didn't know you existed, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Anybody read Atomic Habits by James Clear? Got a couple fans here? Fantastic. That's awesome. So for those of you who read the book, you'll get a little refresher from me right now. If you haven't read the book, please add this to your to-do list. If you guys are all proactive, busy professionals, you're definitely going to get a lot of value out of this book, I promise. For those of you who have read the book, and I highly recommend the audiobook, by the way. For those of you who had read the book, you'll remember that there are 11 million sensory receptors in the human body. James Clear points out to us that 10 million sensory receptors are devoted to sight. Some experts will tell you that half of the brain's resources are devoted to vision. Now, I have nothing against text or audio-only podcasts, but I think the writing is on the wall, and I believe the writing has been on the wall for years. Video is the #1 content consumed today, and there's no data that suggests that that's going to change anytime soon. Yes, maybe one day it'll be supplanted by virtual reality, VR, AR, or some other new technology. However, right now, video is king. Video is king. Nothing against text, but and I mean, I'm not throwing any shade at anybody here, but if you are writing blogs, or if there are any businesses or entrepreneurs that are still relying solely on blogs, that's a very 2017 approach. Your audience is shrinking by the day. And if I'm being honest, it's a lot easier to create a video first, make the video your pillar content, and then repurpose that into audio-only podcasts, or repurpose that into image quotes, and repurpose that into a blog for your website. It's a lot more expensive, frustrating, and difficult to start with a blog and try to repurpose that into a video. It's almost damn near impossible, right? So a couple things to keep in mind, be mindful of. Gary Vaynerchuk, I love this guy. You can't be a marketer and not know Gary V. He very aggressively promotes the fact that attention is the #1 asset on the planet. Every entrepreneur, every business struggles with getting additional attention, controlling the narrative in their marketplace. And Gary Vaynerchuk, very regular basis, reminds that all of us are media companies at the end of the day. And I love how he tells people, don't worry about creating, just document. Document your process, document the FAQs, the frequently asked questions that your clients and tenants keep asking you. I know we're all busy people here, so if you made videos answering those FAQs that you find yourself answering over and over and over again, well, you could always tell people, go check out your YouTube channel, and then by the time, and you don't even have to tell them, because people are going to find your YouTube channel on their own, and then by the time they get to you, you're going to notice that your ability to get from point A to point Z with that tenant, that client, that joint venture partner is going to be vastly accelerated, because they already know, like, and trust you. They've already binge watched 10 or 12 or 15 of your videos. They already have the answers to their questions. And all of a sudden you've realized now you've cloned yourself. I'm going to talk more about cloning in a second. Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson. So who here doesn't know who Jimmy is? Be honest, it's okay. Yeah, so a big crowd. Yeah, good stuff. So I'm happy to introduce you to the world's #1 most successful, most profitable YouTuber on the planet. He does amazing work. This is, anybody like Netflix, Squid Games? Anybody watch Squid Games on Netflix? Not so much? Netflix, Squid Games was a really popular show on Netflix a couple years ago. And then he made a YouTube video, $456,000 Squid Game in real life. Now, why am I talking about Mr. Beast? Because success leaves clues. He has, in this one video that he published, and I took the screenshot, unfortunately the formatting is a little wonky, so things are getting cut off, I apologize about that, but he published this on November 24th, 2021. I'm sorry this is a little small for you guys in the back, but he's got almost 384 million views on one video. Just to put things into perspective, that's more views than Netflix has subscribers. Any ideas on how much money he spent on this one video? Any ideas? How much money did he spend on the video? He spent a lot of money. He spent a lot of money. Yeah.
1 million.
Up.
10 million.
Down.
5.
Closer. $3 million. $3 million in one YouTube video. Sounds like a lot of money, right? That is a lot of money for one YouTube video?
But what's the ROI?
What's the ROI, and what do you think Netflix is spending on each one of their productions? It's going to be a lot more than $3 million, guys. So who's winning the attention game? Netflix or Mr. Beast? A 24-year-old kid. He turned down an offer to buy his channel for $1 billion. And I saw an interview with Patrick Bet-David, someone else that I pay very close attention to. I saw an interview with Patrick Bet-David where he actually calculated what Mr. Beast's YouTube channel is actually worth. And after they ran the calculations, they surmise that his YouTube channel is worth closer to $20 billion.
Can I ask you, if they buy his channel and he's not, if they bought that for $1 billion, billion and he's no longer a part of it? Are people still subscribing and watching? What are they watching for him?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the question is, if someone were to buy Mr. Beast's YouTube channel for any amount, what would happen? There would be a huge drop-off because people know, like, and trust Jimmy. And if all of a sudden the channel was replaced by a different content creator, there would be a massive drop-off. But they're not starting from scratch. They're not starting from zero. Even if they were able to keep 50% of the audience, that's a fantastic way to launch an empire, launch a business, launch a community. So at least you're not starting from zero, and that's probably what, I don't know who made the offer of $1 billion, but that's a really good question. And you're totally right. They would definitely lose some of that audience for sure. Jimmy is an amazing person. I haven't met him yet, but because of the circles that I roll in, I actually saw him on a VIP party, boat party in LA, and I was like, oh my God, it's Jimmy. I didn't have the guts to go up and say hi because he was kind of swarmed, and I was like, I don't want to be that guy. But anyways, now I'm trying to remember where I was. You might, if you're not familiar with him, he's got a number of businesses. He's got this amazing chocolate line that is way healthier than Snickers or anything else out there. He's got a burger called Mr. Beast Burger. When I say attention is the #1 asset on the planet, I mean that because when he launches a company, he's generating 6 figures within the first week. And recently I saw him do a tweet where he has his chocolate bars in Walmart. Did anybody see this tweet from Mr. Beast? He just had an ask out there to the community saying, hey guys, if you happen to see my chocolate bars on the shelf in Walmart and everything looks really messy, do you mind cleaning that up for me? You should, he asked, which is a brilliant strategy. You should have seen the replies. You should have seen the comments, people going, did it for you, Jimmy? Did it? And they're taking pictures of themselves cleaning up the chocolate bars. Do you think if Hershey's or Snickers or Mars Bar, do you think if any of them asked their community to clean up the shelf on Walmart, do you think any of them would have done that?
That's the evidence to do that. Clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
We're going to invite him to the next.
Well, hopefully I'll have met him by that point. So, right about now, one of you, someone in here, is thinking, why are we talking about Mr. Beast? How is this relative to what we're here talking about at this event? And that's why I want to bring it back home. If I were to ask you, who is the #1 real estate investor on the planet today, you would say?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Ooh, I didn't think, a person, not a brand.
Robert Kiyosaki.
So close. I knew someone was going to say Robert. Not Robert. Who else?
Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah, Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. I love this tweet. Grant Cardone. I'm a big fan of Grant, not because of his real estate, because of his content strategy, because his ability to control attention and drive attention and focus and eyeballs. He controls the narrative in the real estate market, as far as I can tell. I don't know if anyone, I couldn't measure him against Robert Kiyosaki. I wouldn't know how to. You guys probably know how to do that better than me. But Grant Cardone is nothing short of amazing, and I love this tweet. People believe what they see, not what they hear, so show them, don't tell them. How are you going to do that? YouTube, the #1 video platform on the planet. A lot of YouTube experts like me love to come at these kind of presentations and say, #2 search engine on the planet, #2 website on the planet, 500 hours of content is uploaded every second, blah, blah, blah. Like, that stuff never lights me up. And that's why I don't talk about that stuff, but a lot of experts lead in with that stuff. We already know all of those amazing things about YouTube. But Grant Cardone knows how to control attention. And if you guys have not had, especially considering your niche, your industry that you're in, I would highly advise you guys check out Undercover Billionaire. It is fantastic. Anybody seen Undercover Billionaire with Grant?
Crazy.
No, it's a I binge watched that thing in less than 2 days. Like I said, I'm not a real estate guy, but I'm an attention guy. And this is what he says in that show. Money follows attention. Whoever gets the most attention always wins the money game. Are you guys seeing a pattern here between Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki? All of these successful types always seem to have a similar narrative. And I even, I was having a meeting recently with a prospect who's probably going to be my next client. I won't say his name. He knows Alex Hormozi. Anybody know Alex Hormozi? Seen him around? Alex Hormozi has been quoted to say that fame is the best business out there. Because it doesn't matter your business. I don't care if you're selling widgets or products or services, you're going to struggle with attention. Everybody does. Everybody does. So I'm building to something here. Okay, this is great, but like you're a YouTube guy, aren't you, Andrew? So let's take a look at his YouTube channel. I love these metrics. I just took this screenshot within like the last week when I was building this presentation for you. And some of these metrics are amazing. He launched, I'll read it out because I know it's really tiny. I apologize about that. He launched the channel in October 2007. He's got 500 million views. Almost 500 million views. 2.36 million subscribers. Not the biggest channel out there. Not the biggest channel. And I love those metrics. They're super impressive. And for those of you who can't see, the one metric that I actually am impressed by, and if I ever get the chance to meet Grant and shake his hand, I'm not going to congratulate him on those metrics like most people would. I'm going to say 5,500 videos. I'm a YouTube expert. I analyze YouTube channels for a living. Do you know how often I come across a channel with 5,500 videos? Never. Do you think this real estate expert, do you think he leverages YouTube in a proactive way? Do you think he values the YouTube platform? Do you think he prioritizes YouTube? Now, yes, we're talking about one of the wealthiest people on the planet. He's got a team, but he obviously started somewhere, and I don't know when he started. Well, he started publishing in 2007. I don't know if he had a team back in 2007, but he saw enough value in leveraging the YouTube platform to move forward and hit the record button. Something else I have to say before I move on. A lot of people get down on themselves when they publish a video and it falls flat. Do you think, even today, do you think if Grant publishes a video and it's a 10 out of 10, in the YouTube studio back-end office, you can see if it's a 1 out of 10, a 5 out of 10, which means that it's the 5th best performing video out of the last 10 uploads. Do you think if he uploads a 10 out of 10, he gets down on himself? Do you think he gets depressed and sad? Oh, YouTube doesn't work. I'm not going to keep publishing on YouTube. No! He knows that even if it's a 10 out of 10, it's still an opportunity for him to grow his exposure, his awareness, credibility, and go from there, right? This is purely an organic play. There are paid strategies too, obviously, but paid strategies are pay to play. You got to keep paying the platform, and as soon as you stop paying the platform, that exposure, that awareness dies. When you are proficient with creating a YouTube program in an aggressive way, and I totally forgot to start the clock. I don't know where I'm at. If you're aggressive in the creating YouTube in a proactive way, then the YouTube AI is going to do the heavy lifting for you, and it will serve your content to the perfect viewer at the perfect time. That's how the AI has been designed. Everyone's talking about the YouTube algorithm. There's not one algorithm. There's multiple algorithms. There's one for browse features, suggested, playlists, search, blah, blah. They're all different algorithms, all driven by the same AI. Okay, so I got this slide in here because back in 2020, Google did a project or a survey, and we're able to determine that Gen Zers and millennials are composed of half of the media watching audience, and that was back in 2020. And they realized that Gen Zers and millennials the majority of them clicked the button that said, "I wouldn't know how to get through life without video."
That's our kids.
I wouldn't know how to get through life without video. And I realized that maybe you're not looking for joint venture partners or what have you, but you might be looking for tenants that are in this demographic. And if you're not looking right now, you really should be, because it's the largest demographic on the planet today, and in Canada and the US, and they're only getting bigger. A 2017 Nielsen's report showed that half the media watching audience today, but that was 2017, 6 years ago. I think we can all agree that there are a lot more than half the media watching audience today. Sorry, yeah, it was Google that said that was their quote, and it was the 2017 Nielsen's report that showed the data, the numbers. Because the audience, that age group, that demographic is just blowing up right now. So, even world leaders, when they need to get a message across, when they need to highlight an important issue, a subject, something that needs to go broad, needs to go out there right now, they rely on YouTube. They rely on video. There's no denying the fact that world leaders leverage video content since video cameras became a thing, and YouTube is the #1 video platform. That's 32,000 thumbs ups, and as of right now, a little over 1.5 million views for a video that's only 1 minute and 25 seconds. Was that a good use of his time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established that attention is a vital component of your business. And I always like to compare. I always love comparisons because it's really hard to measure your success without actually measuring it against something else. I can't tell you if what you're doing financially is successful unless we compare what you're doing financially against what everybody else is doing financially. It's the same thing in marketing. I don't know if your marketing strategy is good or not until we compare it to everybody else's. So Hollywood movie stars, they demand and command some of the largest paydays today. They're the most influential. Everyone knows their face and their name because they control attention. Sports athletes, same thing. YouTubers, same thing. We've already beat, I don't want to beat a dead horse now. What's the one thing that is tying all three of those people together? Video. Video. They're all on video. So why aren't we doing video? Success leaves clues. If you're not currently leveraging video, and I mean some of you I'm sure are working with some pretty stunning properties with incredible curb appeal, and drones are super cheap these days now too. It would be super awesome to get like a videographer into a property and do a little drone tour inside and out, and boom, throw it up on YouTube. Include a little bit of storytelling if you do your homework on how to include storytelling in your videos. And then, I mean, like once you start getting used to how you can leverage video marketing in that way, you're never going to be struggling for that next sell. You're never going to be struggling to flip that property. You're going to have price wars. People are going to be fighting to get your attention, right? I love this slide. Okay.
That's kind of scary.
Scary, but I wanted to send the message home with this one. So we're talking about time, money, people, time, money, people. How can you leverage your time more effectively? The reason why Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone and Robert Kiyosaki and all these amazingly successful people are doing so well is because they clone themselves. Every time you hit the record button, every time you go live, you're cloning yourself. What I'm doing right now is leverage. It's me to many. But if I was doing this presentation on video, which I am right now, and I was to add it to a YouTube channel, I'm going to access a whole lot more people that are in this room right now. Right? Tammy, when I met you, I was like, hey, you're Tammy, because I saw you do your podcast with Francois. I already recognized you right away. And you were like, how did this guy know me? You know, but when you start doing some YouTube videos, it's you have to get used to more and more people coming up to you, and they actually feel like they know you because maybe they binge watch 5, 10, 15 of your videos. Or they already know, like, and trust you. What's the hardest thing in the marketplace, especially from financial experts or any business professional? People got to know you before they can like you, and they got to like you before they can trust you. And cloning yourself, I can't even explain to you how valuable this is. If I looked at 2 real estate investors or 2 businesses, and everything's the same business, same clients, same revenue, but one business has an active, aggressive YouTube program and the other business doesn't, I tell you who I'm investing in. I tell you who I'm going to be backing, the one with the YouTube program, because you could be a solopreneur. You could have no one on your team. But if you were proficient and active and aggressive on the YouTube platform, you could, within a few short years, you could have 1,000 clones out there working for you 24/7, 365. And the YouTube AI will obsess over putting your videos in front of the right person at the right time. Okay, I can't keep going on, obviously, without actually talking about the YouTube platform. I like to focus on things that I see no YouTube expert talking about. This is a website called similarweb.com. It'll show you a list of all the most popular websites today, right? And I check it on a very regular basis, especially when I do these kinds of businesses. Google is the #1 website and the #1 search engine on the planet. YouTube is #2. But have you guys noticed anything strange about these numbers over here? Average visit duration, pages per visit, or in YouTube case, number of videos per visit, and then the bounce rate. YouTube has the best metrics out of all of those websites.
People stay longer.
So maybe we're the #2 website because Google gets more visitors, but we are kicking Google's butt on all of those metrics. And I have to mention this too because everyone loves comparing TikTok to YouTube or TikTok to everything else. TikTok. And I'm getting to that. Regardless how you feel about TikTok or China and the platform being banned and all of that, I'm not getting into all of that. When I check this on a regular basis, because when I'm giving these presentations, I want to know that I'm giving you accurate, current information. I had to scroll all the way down, and I found it in number 17. So, is it a bad platform? No, I'm not saying it's a bad platform, but we all have finite time, money, and resources to invest. Why wouldn't you put the primary effort into the basket that is going to get you the best results, or give you improve your chances of getting the results and the outcomes that you're after at an accelerated rate? Again, I'm not throwing shade at TikTok. I'm just sharing the reality with you guys. And TikTok doesn't have Google. YouTube has Google. I'm going to bet and back the most profitable horse, the fastest horse. Okay, so if we know how great YouTube is, and we have the understanding that human behavior demands that we use video content, because I don't know about you guys, but I've had a chance to communicate with some human behavior scientists over the years. I'm fascinated by human behavior and human communication. There's different numbers out there, so I don't want to embarrass myself by quoting you the wrong numbers, but the